Kumak's Fish. Author and illustrator is Michael Bania. What happens when Kumak and his family go fishing? This is a tall tale from the far north, read by Shelly Knight. On a beautiful Arctic morning, Kumak looked out the window of his house. Through the willows he could see the sun rising over the frozen river. "Ah, spring," said Kumak to his family. "The days are long, the nights are short, and the ice is still hard. Good day for fish." "Good day for fish," said Kumak's wife, pulling on her warm parka. "Good day for fish," said his wife's mother, pulling on her warm mukluks. "Good day for fish," said his sons and daughters, pulling on their warm beaver hats and fur-lined gloves. Kumak packed his fishing gear on his sled. He packed his wife on the sled. He packed his wife's mother on the sled. He packed his sons and daughters on the sled. And then, in the safest place of all, Kumak packed his Uncle Aglu's amazing hooking stick. Everyone in the village knew of Uncle Aglu's amazing hooking stick. Uncle Aglu had carved it many years ago out of a piece of fine willow, and each spring he caught more fish than anyone in the village. But this spring, Uncle Aglu's legs were stiff. He told Kumak to use the amazing hooking stick. This was Kumak's lucky day. When they reached the great frozen lake past the mouth of the river, Kumak's family dug their fishing holes and sat down to wait. Kumak and his family sat for a long time. They were quiet. They were patient. They scooped away the ice growing around the fishing holes. Just as the sun was starting to turn down for the day, Kumak's oldest son caught a fish. Then Kumak's two daughters caught a fish. Soon his wife and his wife's mother each caught a fish. "Good day for fish," they said. Kumak was quiet. Kumak was patient. He scooped away the ice growing around the fishing hole. Suddenly, Uncle Aglu's amazing hooking stick began to twitch. It twitched this way. It twitched that way. It went around and around. It gave one more twitch, then yanked Kumak toward the fishing hole. "What a big fish," said Kumak's wife. "Biggest I can remember," said his wife's mother. "The biggest fish ever," said his sons and daughters. They danced with joy, thinking about the happy faces of the villagers when they brought the fish home. Just then, Kumak began to twitch. He twitched this way, he twitched that way, he went around and around. Kumak gave one more twitch and slid head first toward the fishing hole and the icy water below. "Wife, help me pull this fish!" Kumak's wife grabbed him around the waist, and together they took 2 steps back. "That fish must be as big as a seal," yelled Kumak happily. "Anna, help me pull this fish!" His wife's mother ran to help. She took hold of Kumak's wife, and together they took 3 steps back. "That fish must be as big as a walrus," yelled Kumak happily. "Children, help me pull this fish!" His sons and daughters ran to help. They lined up, one behind the other, and never let go. Together they took 6 more steps, but the stick pulled them all the way back to the edge of the hole. "That fish must be big as a whale!" yelled Kumak happily. Villagers on their way home heard Kumak's shouts and ran to help. They lined up behind Kumak's family, and holding on tight to the person in front of them, they pulled and pulled. But no matter how many steps they took away from the hole, they always ended up back where they started. Soon the whole village heard about Kumak's fish and came to help. In one long line pulling across the frozen lake, they pulled and pulled and pulled. Once again, Uncle Igloo's amazing hooking stick began to twitch. It twitched this way, and all the people of the village twitched this way. It twitched that way, and all the people of the village twitched that way. It went round and around, and all the people of the village went around and around. Uncle Igloo's amazing hooking stick gave one more enormous twitch and pulled Kumak down the fishing hole and into the icy water below. Kumak's family and villagers didn't give up. Each person held on tight to the person in front of them and never let go. All together, they gave one more mighty pull, and whoosh! Kumak came flying back out of the fishing hole. Uncle Igloo's amazing hooking stick came flying out with him. Stretched out in one long line all around Kumak and the fishing hole were hundreds of fish. Each fish held on tight to one in front of it and never let go. Kumak had landed enough fish for the entire village to have a splendid feast. "Hooray for Kumak!" cheered the villagers as they picked up the fish. "Hooray for Uncle Igloo's amazing hooking stick," said Kumak as they started home. It was a good day for fish. And now I'm going to tell you and show you another story about Shelly's amazing fishing adventure. We were out on the Yukon River, and the first thing we needed to do ice fishing was to dig several holes. So in order to do this, we had an auger that would drill the holes down through the very thick ice to get to the water where the fish were swimming around. So we dug several different holes around the area. And here is Lily and I. We were the first people to catch the first fish of the day. These are pike that we are fishing for. And here's Dan pulling a big pike out of the hole with his amazing hooking stick. And here is little Teddy. The pike is bigger than Teddy that his Appa Dan is holding. The pike is bigger than my foot. It would probably take 3 feet to reach the end of this big pike. And here are my fish. I caught 7 fish that day out of that hole that's right by the sled with my hooking stick. And here's Solomon. He has a couple of pike, but I think mine was bigger. Oh, there's my pike, one of my great big fish that I caught with my hooking stick. Here we are heading home. We are so happy that we caught so many fish. And Lily is showing us how big the pike's mouth can be. And you would not want to put your hand in that mouth because the teeth are very sharp and you could get your hand stuck in it. Oh no! Mark put his hand in the pike! Oh, but he was okay. He was just playing around. So that is the story of my amazing fish and fishing adventure out on the Yukon River in the spring. Thank you for listening.